Begin tonight in Fayetteville, where a jury found a former Washington County Sheriff's deputy not guilty of manslaughter.
The verdict comes nearly 2 years after Stephen Grindstaff was first charged following a 2023 traffic stop that ended in the deadly shooting of Scotty Stacy. And the jury made their decision after 2 days of testimony. 5 News reporter Kayla Davis was there for both days of the trial.
Now she's joining us now outside the courthouse in Fayetteville to break down today's acquittal. Kayla?
Darren Morgan, the jury was deciding on a verdict on multiple counts, finding him not guilty on each one. The decision comes after the jury watched Grindstaff's body cam footage from the night he shot and killed Scotty Stacy. In that footage, you can see Grindstaff getting out of his patrol car, and as Grindstaff starts to move towards Stacy's pickup truck, the footage shows Stacy immediately begin to reverse. That's when Grindstaff fires 17 shots, hitting Stacy 11 times. Defense attorney Stuart Cearly says the verdict is a direct result of jurors seeing the evidence for themselves. Evidence he says contradicts the sealed probable cause affidavit that stated Grindstaff fired at Stacy's vehicle as it drove away from him rather than toward him. The Arkansas State Police agent who wrote the probable cause affidavit took the stand today and admitted, quote, "I wish I had written that a little bit differently." The defense called witnesses who spoke on Grindstaff's behalf, including one Washington County Sheriff deputy who said that Grindstaff is, quote, "the kind of deputy supervisors want 10 of." Grindstaff's pastor also testified, telling the courtroom about Grindstaff's values. In closing statement, State Prosecutor Robbie Jones said there's no reason to doubt Grindstaff is not a good family man, churchgoer, or employer. He said it's about whether or not he broke the law.
We felt the evidence showed that the officer-involved shooting was not justified. 12 people in the community heard the evidence, disagreed with us. I respect the decision-making process, respect the time that they spent to participate in this process, and respect the integrity of their decision.
When the verdict was announced, you could see Grindstaff and his wife growing more and more emotional as each count was found not guilty. Live in Washington County, covering news where you live, Kayla Davis, 5 News.
All right, Kayla, thanks. You can find all of our coverage of this case right now on the free 5 News smartphone app.
We're taking a live look tonight over the Fort Smith riverfront. The summer heat wave continued today with another day of hot and humid weather, and meteorologist Stephen Elmore has a look at what to expect for the rest of the week, and I think we can guess what it is, more of the same.
Pretty much the same story. Yeah, very classic summer setup that we have, hot and humid, and every once in a while we'll have to watch out for a quick downpour. We had a few earlier today, nothing severe, but when you're driving along, you run into one of those downpours, it can get quite tricky to drive around out there when those are happening. So good news is we're in good shape right now. I think same story for tomorrow as well, where it's going to be hot, it's going to be humid, and every once in a while we'll have to watch out for one of those stray showers. Here's a closer look at things right now. Pretty quiet across northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. Take a look across northwest Arkansas. Nothing out there right now, but every time we see one of those puffy clouds, that could be a sign that we could see one of those quick downbursts every once in a while. Across the River Valley, a few spotty showers here and there across parts of Sebastian and Scott County. Outside of that, not too much to be worried about. Here's what we're tracking over the next couple of days. Spotty activity is going to continue once again for tomorrow. By the time, let's say, we get to the end of the weekend, going into early next week, that's where we're going to crank up the heat just a little bit. We could see those heat index values continue to climb into the triple digits. We'll talk about it coming up.
Number 11. Number 6,
That was today in Oklahoma City, where Fort Smith Northside graduates Jalen Williams and Isaiah Joe celebrated their team's NBA championship. Estimated 500,000 people are at the state capitol in downtown Oklahoma City to celebrate the Thunder's championship win, their first since moving to Oklahoma City. Robin Hearn will have much more from today's parade in Oklahoma City a bit later in sports.
Well, Arkansas State Attorney General Tim Griffin gave an update today on a lawsuit filed by several smoke and vape shops. Challenges a state law that would ban THC products like Delta 8 and Delta 9 from being sold in Arkansas. Griffin announced a new court ruling in the state's favor today. The ruling removes the block on the law banning Delta 8 from being sold in stores. This comes after another federal judge placed a freeze on the state law after 4 businesses who either produced or sold Delta 8 products filed that lawsuit.
The 8th Circuit dismissed the part of the suit against the governor and me. Said that's ridiculous, that's gone. The 8th Circuit found the Farm Bill, federal Farm Bill, does not preempt Arkansas law. And our law is not vague. It's crystal clear.
Griffin says his office, along with state leaders, got the 8th Circuit Court of Appeals involved. He expects the ban to go into effect in about 8 weeks. Also happening today in the state capitol, thousands of Arkansas teachers learned they are getting bonuses. Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders announced 4,200 of the state's 30,000 teachers will get a bonus of up to $10,000 this year. The merit-based program is part of the Arkansas Learns Act she signed into law.
Growing number of Americans are withdrawing money early from their retirement accounts. Recent report, in fact, from the Wall Street Journal found a record number of early withdrawals last year. Reporter Laura Painter spoke with a financial expert who says the trend is alarming but not surprising.
Is it generally frowned upon to withdraw early from your 401k?
Generally speaking, it is. A recent report by the Wall Street Journal finds a record number of 401k holders took early withdrawals last year, with more than a third citing foreclosure or eviction as the reason for tapping into those funds.
I think we're seeing it mainly because we're still dealing with the effects of inflation over the past several years, and now the current economic environment also includes a lot of uncertainty.
Whatever your reason, financial advisor and coach Maureen Paley recommends crunching the numbers first and looking at the math very closely.
Make sure that the cash that you eventually get after the penalties and taxes are going to be what you actually need.
Paley says withdrawing 401k funds early means withdrawing before the age of 59 and a half, which is the minimum age to withdraw to avoid paying penalties and additional tax liabilities. Keep in mind, penalties can be as much as 20%.
Some people might be needing fast cash now that they don't want to go out and get a loan for. Maybe they don't qualify for a loan to get that cash, but they do have it in their 401k. But it's always important to remember it comes with penalties.
Know your numbers and have a plan for how you'll use that cash. Paley says withdrawing from your 401k might make financial sense if you're using that money to pay down high-interest debt you're struggling to pay off.
Consider it very carefully. And also come up with a plan to get back into investments in another way, maybe in a separate account in a Roth IRA or a traditional IRA, where you can get back into that opportunity of building those investments over time.
Paley says when you take money out early from your 401k, you're potentially giving up opportunities to build future capital with your investments, meaning that money you took out is no longer growing in your 401k.
If you're somebody who has plenty of time to make it up, this might be a reasonable option for you.
But if you're older or closer to retirement age, Paley suggests you calculate the dollar amount you need monthly and yearly when you retire.
And understand, if I make this withdrawal now, how many more years do I have to keep working and contributing to still get to that same dollar amount?
That was Laura Painter reporting. Now, the financial advisor she spoke with says they encourage clients to explore other avenues before touching those retirement accounts. Options might include qualifying for a low-interest loan or taking on temporary additional work.